Hi, welcome to another video on my Raspberry Pi 2 running Ubuntu Linux and using the robot operating system. Last time I experimented with an XS motor of fischertechnik, and that was the last attempt to get the motor running. When you connect it to ground and voltage 5 volt, then it runs, but it turns out it doesn't let itself control by it, and the reason is that most likely there is no pulses modulation in this program, and as a result there is no control of a pulses modulation controlled motor. So with this result, and it doesn't and this video series is not about pulses modulation but about robot operating system. So exit motor. Then what? Using an LED. An LED is far more likely to run and to be controlled. No such thing as pulses modulation necessary, although it can be used by it. But now I run into a problem. Last time also I or the time before that, I don't know, I don't recall, I managed to get the input from this terminal quite alright. Now when I press the switch, you see that it is actually read correctly as 1. I release it and it's going back to 0. Press it, back to 1, release it, back to 0. Unfortunately, the program that should respond to it, or not actually respond but react to it, as a result, stays 0. This and that is a problem. Now this part of the program, which is being executed here, well, it's not executed, but screen results are here, shows that alright, GPIO out is on 7, pin 7, and the control of it, well, not the control, the check on it. So this is control and this is check, and the check shows that this one is 0. When I press it, the check should show 1, and that it doesn't. Also, I noticed that the check shows 1 in some moments, and then it returns to 0, and then 1 again, and then 0 again, and that should not happen either. Now I have measured here, and it shows 0, which is quite understandably because I have taken this jump wire out of the board. But when I check here, it shows a very tiny voltage, very tiny in the sense of 0.13 volts. Now I can show that once again, inserting the probe into this mass, bringing in the multimeter, one you've seen before. I hope that you can somehow watch the display, and then I measure right here. I'm afraid you can't watch the display, but it is saying 0 volts. When I measure here, it says 0.04. Well, 0.04 is that low that any LED does not work. So that's a problem. I have two problems. Well, this one, there are actually two problems, because this one is not responding normally and this is not normally. So what to do? So for restart or for start, let us review the code, and this one can go on. I'm not touching the switch for now. So I know by this output, by the output from here, that this code works perfectly fine. First of all, I assign 0 to the letter I, to the variable I. Then I assign the output, the input from the switch to I, which is then being inserted into a one element array, which is then being published. And being published is very essential to what is going on. Going to the subscriber, well, like with a magazine, something is being published and you have to subscribe to receive it. Well, this is exactly the same thing. The message is being published, and this subscribes to that message, and then it says, right, there are actually two callbacks, as it is called, but since this this publisher has been disabled, I only have to deal with the callback number 2, and the callback number 2 is receiving some data. Now if we look here, it is 0, which is completely accurate. So let us press the switch. What does data 2 show us? Data should show us 1 by now, but it doesn't. So here something goes very, very wrong. And although I rewired the whole thing, the switch that is, this should be alright. Now why doesn't it work? It doesn't mind about this, it just cares about something being published. Now I can of course do something else as well to check whether something is actually being published, and that is with another command. Let me open another window, and then I say let's see which command I should use. ROS There is a command that you can use to actually list running services. And one of them is, let's see, was ls. That should work. Ah, yeah. Let me check let me check on that for getting the exact right command to actually list which messages are being published and what their value is. So the command I was looking for is ROS topic. The argument or parameter I have to use is echo, and then I have to use the actual topic that is being published, which is public speaker 2. And I already tried it, so this is the output you're getting when I press enter. Right now it is saying content is absolutely 0. Now when I pick up the switch and press it, you can instantly see that the content is being 1. I release it, I press release and press again. So this means that the contents of the message is exactly what it should be, which is quite a relief actually. A relief that nothing is going wrong there. So that means, why is this not receiving anything? Because in the lower window where you see the subscriber going, there's no change. It is and remains absolutely 0. Even when I keep pressing it and you see the time going on, but no change in data. So here is something definitely not right. Well, there is no error at all. And this is being data. Now when I go here, is this indeed correct? Am I looking for data or is this data 2? And I think I may have found a mistake, because this is data and here I am looking at data 2. Is that indeed the case? That it may be as simple as that. So let me just change this to data. Let me stop this. Delete the 2. I don't think it is the case, but better safe than sorry. Let me just remove the 2. I can always put it back. Save. And go again. And oops, bad callback. So, and yes, I need to have the data removed here as well. Duly done. Going again. Now it runs, so I press the switch. What does it do? I don't see any change whatsoever. be more precise, I see here the data 2 being printed. Is that correct? Yes, well, that is correct. But it's only a printing statement that is being printed and not the actual data. So that was unfortunately not the solution. I'm still pressing it, as you can see on the data, and now I can see it being 1. And I release it. When does it go back to 0? Does it go back to 0? As you can see, this is 1, this is 0. This is 0, but this is now still 1. Alright, let me do something else. I will remove the sleep here. I need it to be very accurate and very prompt, so alright, let's see again, what does it do? Alright, now it has sped up. I'm pressing 1, message is 1, and GPIO is 7. 7 is 1. I release, and it goes back. It's 1. And 0. And 1. And 0. So, now I have another test to make. Because what happens if I put the 2 back in? Does that matter? Let's see, the first data 2 is here again. And for the rest, here's 2, here's 2, here is 2, here and here. Alright, let's try again. Does that really influence it? The program is running. I press the switch. I release it. No, it has no influence. 2 or not 2, that clearly does not matter. What does matter is most definitely the 1 second. The 1 second delay that I just commented out is doing the job. Ouch. So, it looks like we solved the problem. Yes, it now responds very fast. This is what I like. So the culprit was indeed sleep. I'll let that out. Now the question is, of course, I have an LED which should work. And this LED actually is second, but the small one should work. Now when I turn the light away, does it light up? No, it does not light up at all. But from the past I know it works. So that means it is time to actually do some voltage measurements once again. So let me put the multimeter in place again. The mass. when I untangle the probe wires, it works a little bit better, or should work a little bit better. Alright, that's okay, they're stubborn. Alright, I'll keep it in place then manually. And then I have to measure, so I have to release the probe, press the switch and measure the voltage, which is now 3 volts, 3.3 volts, which is more than enough to lit the LED, which is connected to this one, which is absolutely 0. So that is not alright. And it is now 0.3 volts, which is not enough. So pressing the switch and measuring, everything shows 1 except for the voltage. So why is this voltage 0? That is not supposed to be. Then I measure at one of the wires, which is 0 as well. So here is something definitely wrong. I release it and so how come that everything is 1 as I want it and is showing 0 volts while it started out with showing 3.3 volts? This is weird. You would almost say this is electrically, but when I look at the wires, everything is nicely connected. So software is alright, wiring is alright, so where's the voltage? That's a very good question. Once I've solved that, I think that at least this LED will work, but so far, let me press it again. It doesn't do a thing. No, that is not the way I like. Alright, another riddle. I made some progress by reseating one of the wires, and now when I press the switch I am measuring or I did at least 3.3 volts. Right now I'm measuring nothing anymore, and that is weird in itself. So everything in the signals is right. Now I would love to measure 3.3 volts once again. So once again the question is, why don't I measure the volts again? It did work. I start the recording and it doesn't work anymore. That said, when I measured the voltage, it was on that side of the transistor. So when I take it out, and I reseat it. Now this LED is totally cut off the power, and this one should do it. So once again, taking care that this probe is actually measuring something, and now lo and behold, the LED burns and is off, and it burns and it's off. So the transistor has to go. The transistor really has to go. Sorry for soft speaking. The transistor is the culprit in this case, and now it is very clear that this works. So with the switch, as you can see, it is released and it is pressed, and I actually have control over the LED with the robot operating system. And that is of course an extremely nice result. Why doesn't it work with the transistor? Maybe it's broken. That can very well be. But I don't have to measure the voltage anymore, because the burning of the LED says it all. So with that I say thank you for watching. Checking some code, repairing it, and removing the delay, sleeping time. Motor is out, LED is in. This proves that the topic being published is exactly doing what it should do. It has a little bit of delay, but alright, who cares. And yeah, that's it for now. If you like this video and you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. If you don't want to for some reason, you can also follow me on Twitter. You can, with a live link to the video, to any video. You can also follow me on Instagram, but then you have a nice picture and you will have to copy and paste the link into your browser or whatever. And please visit also my website for more information on my projects, and if you like to do so, there's also information on how you can donate a small amount of money to keep my blog going. Quite very much appreciated, by the way. And this is going to be continued. So bye bye.